Hi, my name is Jenny Hubbard. I'm the Trust Administrator at HFG Trust. Today we'll be speaking with Mike Tallman, our Senior Trust Officer, asking some of our frequently asked questions. The first question we get most often is, what should be included in an estate plan?
What should be included in an estate plan? Really 3 or 4 primary items that you want to have in your estate plan. First, power of attorney. That's a document that while you're alive, someone else can act on your behalf financially, especially if you don't have capacity to do so. So we see that a lot in cases of dementia or those types of situations. So the power of attorney is an important part of it. Your will is also an important part of that, and healthcare directives are the other piece of that. One optional piece would be a trust, and that can be part of the plan, or it may or may not be part of the plan depending on your particular situation.
What is a trust?
A trust is a legal entity that an individual sets up that allows them to control their assets beyond the grave. So when they pass away, they basically set up a trust, and then that trust is administered by a trustee, and that trustee then has the responsibility to carry out your wishes, whatever you set up inside of the trust document.
Is there a certain amount of money that is required to go into a trust?
There's not necessarily a certain amount of money or a certain amount of assets. A trust might be needed. It might be cost prohibitive in certain cases. So you might not want to put $50,000 or $100,000 in trust depending on your situation, but there is no minimum requirements as far as trust goes. And that's really where they can sit down and talk with us about what for their particular situation makes the most sense.
As a trustee, I understand that you're the manager of the trust. What kind of services does that include?
Well, it's kind of interesting because our services that we provide can be varied throughout the different types of trusts. A lot of times what we're trying to do is just go out and collect the assets. So we're actually trying to make sure that all the real estate is accounted for, all of the different businesses, all the different accounts that an individual might have. So we have to go and collect all the assets and then bring them into the trust, so to speak. Once we get into a trust, then as a manager, it's our responsibility to manage those just as if you as an individual were managing them.
Can anybody contest a trust?
Well, it's interesting because there can be a contest on a trust, and typically what we see is it's a beneficiary that contests the trust, and that's because they want their money right away. Other individuals might be able to contest trust, but for the most part, you're going to find that the beneficiaries are the ones that will contest the trust.
We mentioned costs earlier. What are the costs associated with the trustee services?
Well, typically a trustee is going to have what we call a typical fee. In the case of HFG Trust, that generally ranges at about $3,000 to $5,000 a year. It's typically based upon the assets or the total assets that we manage. And it's very similar to the fee structure that we have for our investment management services.
So one of the questions we get often is if we're named as a trustee as part of a trust document, when do those fees begin?
And so the situation is, it's a little bit odd because for most people they think as soon as they name HFG Trust as personal representative or as trustee that the fees would start right away, and that's actually not the case. The fees actually don't begin until we actually start doing the work as trustee or the work as personal representative, and that really happens after you pass away.
How does the trust end?
Each trust is unique and can end in multiple ways. One of the ways that a trust can end is if it just runs out of money. In that particular case, then the trust would end. Other situations, the trust is designed to end at a specific point in time. Sometimes that's based on the beneficiary's age. Sometimes it's based upon a point in time as far as that the trust can last a certain number of years. Sometimes it is just because the assets run out. That can be many cases on how the trust ends. In most cases, we do want the language of the trust document to specify when the trust does end. Thanks for watching today, and if you need more information, please visit our website at www.hfgtrust.com.